Hello, and welcome to the Artist Pivot Podcast. My name is Ayana Major Bay, and well, I'm your host. I am on a mission to educate, empower, and celebrate artists so they have no option but to thrive. This is a weekly conversation with artists about their current pivot, past pivots, and every pivot in between that I hope will remind other creatives that we innately have it in us to reevaluate and adapt. When I'm not podcasting, my world is full of voiceovers, musical theater, mentoring, travel, and some cooking and baking. But enough about me. Let's get on with the show. On this episode, I am joined by actor, singer, enthusiastic mover, and teaching artist, Kolby Kindle. Originally from Oklahoma City, he grew up singing and dancing in the church. He received a BFA in musical theater at Otterbein University and has toured the world in 6 national tours, including Beauty and the Beast, Dreamgirls, Sister Act, the Book of Mormon, Waitress, and the Australian company of Come From Away. He lives in NYC and loves dogs. We discuss tackling the boxes we put our own selves in, how change can be a wonderful thing, and how jumping in before you can even think about it brings the greatest surprises. Here's our conversation. All right, everybody. I am so excited today that joining me on the podcast is my friend, Mr. Kolby Kindle.
Hey there.
Hey, Kolby.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So I have a question for you. This may throw you off a little bit, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay.
So if I were to text you right now and ask you how you were doing, but you could only respond in emojis only, what would you text me?
Oh, wow. Well, it would definitely be the emoji with the there's this new emoji. I don't know if you've seen it, but like they have like these eyes that kind of go in circles, it's like these spiral eyes.
Yes,
Maybe it's not new, but it's definitely new to me. And I saw that, I was like, I'm using this emoji for everything because it's just like this, like kind of these crazy eyes and like this crazy mouth. And I think it would definitely be 3 of those. And then I would also send 3 of like, just like that serene, kind of like blushy, happy face, because that's my favorite emoji.
Yes, that's a good one.
Definitely those 2.
Okay.
For sure.
I love it. Thank you for that imaginary text.
Like, how do you like describe emojis is the real question. Like,
Right. That's the real question. How do we describe these emojis?
Yeah. It's like, I like the one with like the hands are just up on the side. Like, I don't know.
I legitimately said that one all the time. And I made all of mine black, because you changed the skin color. So they all black with the purple. She'd be like, I don't know, with the hands up.
Or just the one hand. Just the one hand.
Those are probably the 2 that I use most of my phone, or the one that covers your face, the palm to the face.
Of course.
Those are probably my top 3.
Yeah, so it would definitely be those 2 emojis because right now life is feeling a little crazy, but at the same time, I'm very grateful. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because we can simultaneously feel that. Like, be at peace, but also there's a little part of us that like, oh my gosh, what's happening?
Exactly. I mean, I think that's just kind of always the life of an actor, but
Touche.
You definitely know.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So today, as per usual, we're going to talk about your pivots and your adapting and your ever-changing career, and the things that you've done to, in essence, survive and thrive as well. Because if you do pivot into something else, usually you're on the path to thriving. You're like, oh, I needed to go to that direction. Oh,
right,
this is what I actually needed to do. Got it. I was supposed to go that way.
Well, recognizing the pivot, I think, is the first step, and being like, okay, time to change something up, and so that is thriving, for sure, moving on to something different or trying something different.
Yes, that's it. Oh, I love it. So let's see. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take the people back to how you, first of all, got started in theater, and was it always something you wanted to pursue, or was there like, oh, I'm gonna go to school for this, and then that's not what I want to do, so like I'm gonna go do theater. So let's start take us back a little bit, and then we'll progress to, y'all, he was in the Australian company of Come From Away. I just want you to know that. Like, that's kind
True
of fancy.
story, yes.
Um, so before we get to that, take me back to how you kind of started in the arts.
Well, let me take you on back to Oklahoma, 19. No,
Oh.
no, but like, so I grew up. I seriously grew up in Oklahoma, and luckily, I have parents who love the theater. So
Hmm.
my parents would take me to the theater at a very young age. So
Hmm.
when people say, "When did you know you wanted to do this?" It's kind of just been
Hmm.
something that's always been in my life.
Hmm.
Thanks to my parents who are not actors or artists in that way, but they just love the theater. So
Yeah.
that's so I started there as a kid doing like church plays, doing
Hmm.
local community theater, and then
Hmm.
it's just always been a part of my life. So like I honestly can't say, oh, it started here, but I can honestly say that my parents put me in a theater camp when I was 8 years old in
Okay.
Oklahoma, and
Okay.
then it just kind of started going from there, and I honestly have not stopped, since then.
Hmm.
And and I know everyone has their different stories, but mine seriously was just kind of handed to me and like, just like, this is what you do. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine.
Right. Right. Understood. I
Yeah.
completely understand that, because that
Hmm.
happened for me. Like, I would say though, there was a moment like when I saw my first Broadway show, which was
Mm.
Ragtime, and I was in the 6th grade. That's when it
What
was like, that's it.
what a show to be your first Broadway show. I would lose my mind if that was my first Broadway show.
I still have vivid memories of it, and like
Did you
my
see Audra?
mom. Of course, I saw Audra. I still
Oh
have the
my
playbill, y'all. I
goodness.
still have the signed playbill from whatever year that was, 1997,
Oh, lucky you.
96, whatever, 8. I don't know what year that was.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. But my mom tells the story of me sitting at the edge of my seat. And my
What?
mom said she missed half the show because she was focused on me watching the show. And she was getting
Wow.
welled up, like watching, like I was literally at the edge of my seat, that
Like,
little thing
are
chasing,
y'all seeing
like,
what I'm seeing?
right? Are y'all seeing? Is anybody else seeing what I'm seeing right now? Like, oh my God, this is amazing. So my
Yeah.
mom continues to remind me of that moment,
Uh-huh.
and it's
I
so like
was
you was kind of handed to me.
Yeah, I think the first show I guess professional show, I saw the touring company of Rent.
Okay.
And I won, so they did the lottery for like people can win for like front row seats. And
Yes.
my dad took me and we both
Okay.
won front row seats. And I could tell you my mind was blown. I had no idea. I was like, how is this even possible? And they do this
Hmm.
every night. This happens all the time, 8 times a week. What?
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
Exactly. It was
You
nice.
like they do that? Oh,
Hmm.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Every
yes.
night.
Every night? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm okay. Yes. But I love that it was just kind of like, here it is.
Hmm.
Colby, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I
the
had that support system from them
mhm.
because I understand, like when I was like I want to go to college for theater, I didn't
Yeah,
have that my parents were like, no way, that's not no, you can't, you need to go to school for something more, what do they call, substantial, or something more
something
legit,
real, legit,
like
yes.
you know because my brother and sister went to college for different things, and when I came to them with that, they weren't like no, they were like okay, fantastic. And like that's just
Mhm,
me, that's just, to be honest, that's privilege, having parents who are that supportive, and and I like, so I'm very grateful for that, for sure.
mhm. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Yeah, you had that support system early on to be like, "Go."
Hmm.
Like, if that's what
For
you wanna
sure.
do, go ahead. We got your back.
Exactly. Exactly. It was,
Yes.
yeah. So that's where it's kind of where it started at a very, very young age for me.
Mhm, mhm. Understood, understood. Okay, so then after college, did you move directly to New York? Did you start working? Like, what was that change, I guess? Because, coming from college and then going into the real world
Hmm.
of theater is not easy.
Well, just New York alone, right? New York
But
is a
yes,
beast, and like, I mean, I
yes.
guess you grew up in Jersey, yeah.
I grew up born and raised in Jersey, yeah.
So like having the city kind of next door, I think
Mhm.
is a little different. But I grew up in Oklahoma, where it's like that ain't much happening. I
Uh-huh.
had theater, I did have theater, but New York is a beast. So I went to college in Ohio, which is
Mhm.
not that much different than Oklahoma.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then so we do this thing our senior year where we intern in New York City. So I actually came here for 10 weeks to New York, and that was
Okay.
my first time in New York City. I mean, I visited when I was in high school for like 3 days,
Yeah.
but I actually moved to New York City for 10 weeks as an intern, interning at
Mhm.
Chelsea
Mhm.
casting office.
Mhm.
And then I went back to college and finished up. And so like those 10 weeks really gave me let me know what it felt like to live in the city.
Yeah.
And then going back to Ohio and finishing up, I finished up, then
Mhm.
moved to New York right after college. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. And then you started that New York grind, if you will, if
Hmm.
we want to call it that.
Yes.
Which, to be very honest, I don't want to go back to. Well, at
Good for
least not the
you.
way I used to approach it. Let
Uh-huh.
me rephrase that. I don't want
Wow.
to go
Okay.
back to it the way I used to approach it. Um,
Like when you
so
say
with
approach it, like
yeah,
what do you mean by like
I for me personally, my mindset
I hear
of
you.
like
Hmm.
operating from a place of lack instead of a
Mm,
place of abundance.
wow.
Meaning, I have to book this show. Oh my goodness, what if I book this? If I don't book that, I have to be at this audition.
Mm,
Rather, okay, do I have time to go to that today? No, I don't. Great. My other opportunity will come.
wow.
So
That's good.
so switching it and building my career around my life instead of my life around my career. And yes, I know
Wow.
that's very hard in the entertainment industry. It is. But this last like year and a half has been like, "Wait, Ayana, what's important to you?"
Mm,
My mental health, my sanity, my family, like, I'm not gonna be stressed about trying to keep some survival job so that I can audition.
right.
I'm
And
like,
the pandemic showed us that like when it's all shut down, what do you have? When like you have your
"Yes,
family, you have your friends, you have, and so yeah, you start to prioritize and realize, oh, okay, so if there is no Broadway, I still have to live. I still have to be a person. And so you start,
yes,
yeah,
yes."
gotcha for sure.
Exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So that for me would be the change, like, we're gonna approach this differently. Like, yes, I still love the entertainment industry. Yes, I still wanna do theater and TV and film and voices of all of that, yes, but the
Hmm.
approach has to be completely different for me personally now.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
You
it
preaching.
has to be.
That's a word. Come on.
That's come on. Yes, yes. But I would like to ask you, so with your career over these last what? Carry the one, how many years
I'm
you've been
old.
doing
I'm up
this?
there. These old bones.
These old listen, I'm only 34, but my knees feel about 94. Okay?
That part.
Okay, that part. I'm like, "Oh Lord,
So let me
eight
get
I
this
have to go
walker
back
and
to
go
8."
to the bodega.
Okay.
Oh,
Exactly, exactly.
uh,
But with your the span of your career so far, what would be some pivotal moments where you chose to pivot and there were things that you were like, "Oh, I was meant to do that because I had to learn this," which then led
mm,
me to that. Because I know at one point you started teaching and coaching, which you actually didn't
mm,
know you loved. And
mm-hmm.
then there are things like, kinda basically tell me how you ended up in Australia. Like, there had to be moments of different things that were like that had to lead to that, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Well, yeah, it's funny. So I feel like I've been auditioning for Come From Away, the show,
Yeah.
since it opened. Like I was
Okay.
auditioning for the tour and auditioning for this and that, and I kept going in for the show. And
Yeah.
then my agent was like, "So the Australian company have Come From Away. Uh, do you do you want to go in for it?" And I was like, again, I'm going in for the show again. Like I don't think that, obviously they don't want it. So
Mhm.
he was like, I think you should, obviously if they're calling you back, there's something that they like. And so
Yeah.
I yeah, I was doing the tour of Waitress at the time. We were in Atlanta,
Okay.
and my agent was like, "Can you fly out literally in 2 days to New York City to do this
Oh.
audition for Come From Away?" It was like, and I was like, and it was the final. So I was like,
Mhm.
sure, I'm gonna do it. Why not? And
Right.
so I woke up at 4 a.m., flew to New York, did the audition, hopped back on a plane, flew back to Atlanta, did the show that night.
Ooh.
And so it wasn't like this, like, let's just this journey to Australia. It was like, oh, here's Australia. And then it was like, and then I had literally had a month and then when I found out I got the job, I had a month to get everything ready and packed up. And then I moved to Australia. And it was, talk about a pivot. Like, that was just
Mhm.
like, it all happened so fast. And I think that
Mhm.
that's why I did it. Because if I had too
Okay.
much time to think about it, I wouldn't have done it. Because that's daunting to move all the way. Like, it's not like I'm moving to Europe. Australia's literally on the other side of the world. And so
Mhm.
to pack up and move that fast, it was a lot.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Hmm.
But are you glad you did it? Like, how was your
Oh,
time in Australia?
it was absolutely life changing, and I say that
Mhm.
because I I've lived in Canada for a bit, and I've lived
Mhm.
in Japan for a bit,
Mhm.
but Australia was, I was there for a long time, and I knew I was going to be there for a long time, and so I kind of felt like for the first time, which is crazy to think about, I was actually living in a place for, I was kind of putting my feet down somewhere and kind of snuggling up somewhere because I knew I
Uh-huh.
was going to be there. And like, as actors, we travel. We're on cruise ships.
Mhm.
We're in this city. We're in that city. And to be in a
Mhm.
city for, I was there. I was in Melbourne for a year almost.
Yeah.
It just was like, oh, I'm actually living here right now, and I can tell you, it was amazing. I
Yeah.
love it, and I think everyone should, if you can, travel to
Mhm.
Australia, especially as an American, to just see how they operate because it's
Mhm.
great.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. Well, Australia's on my list,
Yeah,
so Imma
but
get there one day.
because you traveled a lot as well, yeah?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Mhm.
I and that's what I miss. I do miss that aspect of our career, being able to travel and
And meet new
see.
people.
Bingo. Meet new
Mhm.
people and see different parts of the world. I am a fan of taking a cooking class in whatever country I go to.
Yes,
So, for me,
that's
I love
amazing.
that part of learning. I wanna learn, like, learn. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
here for the American stuff. I'm not here for whatever McDonald's or whoever
Right.
decided to put this in this country. No, wha Greece, come on,
Yeah,
give me the
like,
what's
we're
the
not gonna
Greek
be in
food?
Tokyo eating TGI Fridays. It's not happening. We're not doing
Hello.
that.
Okay, we're not doing this. We're not I'm not gonna be in South Africa going to McDonald's. No, 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 no.
No,
Give me your food.
please. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, but that's what I do love about our travel. But it's interesting for you to say, like, you felt like, "Oh, I'm putting down, like, roots for a second.
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna unpack my clothes and they gonna, like, hang in the closet."
They gonna get a little dust on them. Yeah.
They go
No, but it's something like, 'cause I have moved around a lot, and that was the longest I've been
Mhm.
in one apartment since I graduated
Mm.
college, and that hit me, and I was like,
Wow.
I'm 33 years old, and this is the longest I've been in one apartment, 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so that alone was like, okay, I'm here. And then also my parents were able to come out and visit, so
Okay.
that was nice, and
Yeah.
that kind of helped my homesickness because the first few months were kind of hard because I was so far
Okay.
away from home. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. Interesting.
no.
And with that, because your parents got to visit, which was great,
Hmm.
but in the daily or at least weekly communication with them, was it hard to, like, line up, "Okay, Imma call you at 11:30 PM my time, but would you be awake?" Like
Yeah, we made it work. Luckily, my mom's a night owl, so like
Okay.
when I wake up, I mean, it's not too bad. Like I will wake up and it'll be like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. here.
Yeah.
So I just knew when I wake up, call the
Co
family or call people back here, and it really wasn't
Yes.
that bad. I just knew like my midday, everyone was going to bed, so I just knew to like get it all done in the morning so I could talk to everyone at like when it's their nighttime.
Fair, fair.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, okay. Good to know. Good to know. But I love that. And I love that you've had that experience and I'm like living
Yeah,
vicariously through you.
no, it was, and like I said, it was a unexpected blessing because I it
Mhm.
all happened so fast, and
Mhm.
so I think that is the best way for things to happen. Just do it. Just jump in and do it
Yeah.
because if you have too much time to think about it, then you may back out. And I really
Mhm.
was just kind of backed into a corner. It was like, yes, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. You know. So, and
Yeah.
that's the exciting part.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
That Absolutely right. That is the exciting part about new things and about
Hmm.
change and about, "Oh, no, I can do this." Like, I can move to another country and, like, do a show. Like, I am capable. I have the capacity to do that,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
like you don't know, you won't know until you try. you
Mm,
know.
yes.
Hmm.
Yes, that's fair. You won't know until you try.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, I have a question for you that I know in one of our, like, like, pre-conversation or pre-questions. So, y'all, you probably know that I ask my guest questions before the interview just so, like, because 'cause we'd probably go off on a tangent and it'd be a 2-hour just
All right.
conversation. Y'all here listening to us, they're like, "What are they talking about?"
I know I think
Um,
you've gotten one question in. I've been running my mouth. I'll let you ask
d
your question.
what? No, please talk. This is your time to speak, my friend.
I'm really popping
But
these
what
gums.
okay. Not popping these gums.
I'm popping these gums. My mom used to always say.
I love it, I love it. So so with that, I wanna ask, I know that you at one point were teaching and coaching. I'm not sure if you're still doing that right now.
Hmm.
But with
Yes.
that, did you ever think that you would be teaching and coaching? Or was that something that you were like, well, first, before, so I can establish my question correctly, were you teaching and coaching before the pandemic?
Yes.
You were. Okay,
Not
okay, okay.
not to the extent that I was, but yes, a little bit
Okay.
here and there. Hmm.
Here and there. Okay. So then within the pandemic, how did, your teaching and coaching kind of grow and your love for it, since that was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna turn and pivot to this avenue right now.
Hmm. Well, I was teaching with a school called DMR Adventures based in excuse me,
Yeah.
DMR Adventures based in Richmond, Virginia.
Mhm.
And I went there in 2018 and did like a week camp called
Mhm.
Broadway Bound, and it's for like middle school to high school students, and like
Okay.
it's seriously just a week boot camp, and we put on a full production at the end of the week. And I went there in 2018, and like that was my first time ever doing anything like that. Like I would do
Mhm.
like go back to my church and like do some like choreograph something, or
Mhm.
we do like a little skit. Like I've done that, but this is my first time like actually coaching uh,
Mhm.
students, and and I did that for a week, and I was like, wow, that was so much fun. And
Mhm.
like I said before, sometimes just being thrown into it and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna just try it. And I
Yeah.
tried it, and it could have been good. I mean, maybe the students were like, who is this guy? He's terrible. But it was, at least it was
Mhm.
like my first time trying it. And then fast forward to the pandemic, I get a call from uh, Melissa, the owner of DMR Adventures, and she was like,
Mhm.
"Can you want to do that camp again? This time it's going to be on Zoom."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything else. Obviously,
Mhm.
like it's the pandemic. I'm like, yes, I'll take a job, absolutely. And so I did that, and then it just snowballed from there. I was put on the staff, and I was
Okay.
like, and then the students would sign up for lessons, and then I
Yeah.
would just kind of do that, and then it just became a thing. I was putting in like, I would say 25 hours a week,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
you know, on Zoom sitting in my apartment, but it was teaching and coaching.
Mhm.
And I found such a love for it because I remember when I was that student, like needing some like, just just someone who's been in the business, who knows about it, and kind of having that
Mhm.
direction. And it was just nice. And I kind of wish I had somebody, a black man, to kind of guide me through it, because like someone who looked like me to kind of be
Mhm.
the voice. And so I kind of took advantage of that, being like, oh, I'm a black man in this business. Why not reach other students of color and who are trying to be in this business? Uh, because we don't have a lot of that representation when it
Mhm.
comes to teaching. So I just found a love for it, and I still love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's great. That's
Hmm.
great. I love that you love it,
Yeah, it's great. And
and
like, it surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much.
right.
Hmm.
Right. But that surprise is leading you down this path.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
has given you another avenue as well?
Hmm. Yeah, and
And so
oh,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, and that's the exciting part. Is like
Mhm.
you do something once, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I have other skills besides, I I can reach people this way. It doesn't have to be on stage. It doesn't have to be, auditioning. Like I can actually do this and it be effective.
Right. Right. Yes,
Hmm.
and that's actually perfect because that leads me to my next question of, you know, re how the pandemic has kind of reinforced or not reinforced, what's the word I wanna use? Actually, no, I wanna use the word forced. It forced us to acknowledge that, like, taking a break is important and, like, embracing all of I think you said this, embracing all of the beauty and, like, your family and your support that's around you,
Hmm.
and discovering your other skills and your
Hmm.
other avenues, to express yourself. So is I guess what is my question? So my question is, in this teaching and coaching, is this an avenue that you would like to keep, as you get back on stage or, commercials and TV and film and all of
Hmm.
that? Is that an avenue you would like to, keep? And what is it you want to take away from like kind of being forced to have this break from the
Yeah.
grind, if you will?
Well, I would absolutely continue teaching because I have found out that like, oh, people actually care what I have to say. Like it was kind of like it's like I'm still a student myself. Like I'm still trying to
Yes.
learn, from people and learn from the people around me. So who am I to tell anybody how to do anything? But when I realized,
Mhm.
oh, people actually listen, and it actually it's working for them. Like my advice or
Mhm.
coaching, whatever,
Mhm.
they tend to care. So I guess it's something I was like, okay, I do have a voice,
Mhm.
and they seem to care. So yes, I'll stay down this path. Am I a qualified teacher? Did I go to college or get my master's in teaching? No, but
Mhm.
I do have a life. I do have life experience, and if someone's willing to listen to
Mhm.
my life, my crazy life, and all that, then sure,
Mhm.
why not? Why not? And maybe I would go back to school for teaching or directing or something like that because I have found a love for it for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Great. And then so with that, so you're like, "Okay, I'm keeping the teaching. This avenue, she's on lockdown, like, we're not getting rid of her."
Right.
But on the same note, when our industry does what's the word I wanna use? I guess slowly creep back, like, we like,
Hmm.
she's crawling now, like, we
She's
on the
crawling,
floor crawling. Um,
rolling.
we right, right. We might get to a little stagger walk in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
months, but we crawling right now.
Hmm.
But with that, has your mindset, excuse me, changed with the way that you want to interact with the industry? Especially with for years we've been kind of questioning casting choices and kind of like, oh, that's not actually correct, but
Hmm.
we gonna run with it since I need this job. Like,
Right.
is there is there a mindset shift that you would like to, approach, the industry with? And also, I would say, are there what's the word I'm looking for? So, like, with that mindset change, are you now kind of taking yourself out of boxes that you might have put yourself in
Mm.
before the pandemic?
Yeah, I think what the pandemic showed me is that what the pandemic did for everybody, I think it showed that we really need each other. And I
Mm,
say that as being like you saw everybody, the top Broadway star looking for work. This casting
mhm,
agency looking for work. Everyone's looking for
mhm,
work. It's everyone's was like, I need to make money during this pandemic. And I
mhm,
think coming back, I think before it was like, oh my God, I hope they like me. I hope they accept me. I hope that but now it's like, oh, you need me just as much as I need you. And I think the
mm,
pandemic showed that it's more of a teamwork thing than we think. I think as actors, we get so caught up in getting approval and getting validation and all
mhm,
that. You start to realize it's like, I don't need that. I'm going to do me and you do you. And then hopefully we meet somewhere in the middle instead of like always thinking that you need them to accept you and
yeah,
like what you're doing. And I think now going back with the business creeping in, I see it as more of a collaborative effort, even for the people giving me the job. It's
mhm,
like I'm you. We're meeting somewhere in the middle. You're not changing my life. I'm not changing yours.
mhm,
This is collaborative, and I think that's and so I'm not putting myself in this box of thinking that I need approval, basically. Uh,
mhm.
you
Mhm.
go to it putting your best foot forward, knowing you're putting in the work, and they could take it or leave it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
That part, you can
that
take
part.
it or leave it. But
Uh-huh.
having that confidence, like,
Mhm.
having that confidence of, like, "I know what I bring to the table. I put in my work.
Mhm.
So here's what I'm gonna give you. And if it's for you, great. If it's not for you,
Absolutely.
great."
Absolutely. I mean, because the thing is like you're just one opinion, So like,
Mhm.
you keep. I mean, I know what I got to do. I got to live with myself every day, So
That
if you
part,
don't like it, you know,
I can't help you.
I can't help you. Sorry about
Right. So sorry about it. I can't help you. Gotta go find
it.
somebody
Yeah.
else. But there's no hard feelings, because, like you said, you gotta be
Mhm.
happy with yourself and your decisions.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I love it. I love it. So, one last question I wanna ask you is, what would be your advice, your nuggets of wisdom to, other artists? Like, we're still in a space of like, okay, can I rip the Band-Aid off? Can I do this? Can I pivot in a different direction? Can I stay
Mhm.
in this? Or should I just kind of sit and let the universe do what it's gonna do? Like, what
Mhm.
would be your word of advice to other artists?
I mean, I think you said it best. Let the universe do what it's going to do, because at the end of the day, no one knows what's best for you more than you.
Mhm.
And I like kind of going back to what I was saying before. If we spend so much of our time being like, what will they think? What will they say if I decide to pivot? What will they do? Like, what will people say about me if I what's best for you? Because I promise you, they're
Mhm.
doing what's best for them. And so that's my advice: is you know, if you need to pivot or you need to change, because it's your
Mhm.
life, and you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day, and regardless of what everyone else has to say, you have to be happy with what you're doing. And so if you are
Mhm.
an actor or an artist or a dancer or a singer, whatever,
Mhm.
that's you. And if you don't want to do it anymore, you don't have to. And there's no one to tell you that you need to stick with it. But if you want to
Mhm.
continue to do it, then great, and like continue to put in the work. But there's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yes, I love that. There's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with changing your mind.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Because I think there is a stigma, though, with changing your mind, especially as artists. To me, again, I'm an artist, so I'm seeing it from my perspective and my lens. But like, if
Uh-huh.
someone says, "Oh, I'm going to be an actor, or I'm going to be a dancer, I'm going to be a director, or whatever it is," and then they change their mind, it feels like society's like, "Well, I thought you said you were going to do this. How come
Yeah.
you not?" You're like, "I just
Well,
changed
I
my mind."
changed my mind.
Yes.
I thought you were going to wear shoes today, but you decided sandals. Sometimes we change our mind. It's just
Come
it,
on.
it's like I thought you wanted pizza. Well, I want tacos now, so let me eat my tacos
Yes, let me
and
eat my
pass me the
tacos in
salsa.
peace. Hello, okay? And also the guacamole. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I know it's extra,
That's it. I know it's extra, so I'm
I
gonna
know
change
it's
my mind
extra,
and be extra about it.
and it's
Thank you.
okay. Yeah,
And it's
and
okay.
that's okay. Yes.
And it's okay.
Hmm.
Oh, yes. I love it. I
Yeah, of
love it.
course.
Colby, thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing.
thank you for having me. This is wonderful. I needed a little
Of
chat.
course.
Because I really haven't talked about the last couple of years have been hard for all of us, and like,
Mhm.
I mean, and like, other than like talking to my therapist, I haven't really
Yeah.
talked to other artists
Mhm.
about this past year and what it's done for us. And so this is
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much for
Yes.
also bringing up the fact that sometimes you change and sometimes you have to make a left, and
Mhm.
then steer to the right. And thank
Yes.
you for creating
Exactly,
this
exactly.
avenue for us.
Oh, thank you. I accept that. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes, of course.
Um, and before I let you go,
Hmm.
there is something that I must say to you,
Uh,
and that is that I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
oh, thank you. Right back at you. Same to you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thanks for
Of
joining.
course. Thank you.
Colby, thank you so much for sharing. Please feel free to visit this episode's show notes for links to get in touch with my guest, as well as a link to rate and review my podcast on Podchaser. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, all you have to do is scroll down to the rate and review section. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and share this episode with at least one friend. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll speak to you soon.